Oh!
It's part of the camera.
Just totally cramped up on me. Oh. Yesterday was leg day. My calf just didn't like that.
Some years back I did. Around maybe 2002.
Yeah, that's so too.
Liked it.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. I basically got into it as cross training to develop flexibility for martial arts, but I ended up liking it for itself.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd like to revisit some.
Well, a lot of the stuff you do is yoga movements, poses.
Yeah, that's it. But I'd like to add more into this routine, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have my own routine that I made up, but I can't remember it anymore. I would do things differently now anyway because I wasn't really into weight training at that time.
Right.
So I was doing more like strength stuff too. But I would do more flexibility and releasing stuff now.
Yeah, I used to do stuff like, I remember when it came to that sun salute series. Yeah, I would almost like get some burpee kind of things mixed in there, you know, where I was.
Well, that's fair. I mean,
push-ups and
they took traditional yoga and mixed it with gymnastics moves and stuff. And that's why we have the yoga we have today. When yoga came from ancient India, it wasn't quite as complex as it is now.
Right.
So they were already doing that, pioneering, kind of putting new moves into it.
Don't crack. I'm really prone to foot cramps for some reason.
Yeah, I've noticed that. I don't know why.
Yeah. Maybe it's, I don't know.
Oh, your hamstrings when you hold this pose pretty tight?
Yeah, pretty tight.
Mine are really tight.
Yeah, I ran this morning too.
How far?
My legs are pretty, not too far, it's like 10 kilometers.
Oh, relative.
A light run.
Yeah, just a light run.
After I got done this morning, I was thinking, gee, on Saturday I'm going to have to maybe do somewhere between 20 and 30.
Yeah, quit slacking, come on.
Just didn't have enough time.
I just think some people aren't built to run, you know?
I don't know. I think, what I found is that if you actually do it every other day or so, like you build up builds up really quick to where you can run it. It's not a problem.
Yeah. I don't doubt that, you know, a person did it more often, they would adapt to it.
Yeah.
But it just seems like some people just can run and run and other people struggle, like, not even just, like, if, say they did do it for a while, they might have physiological issues because of it.
Right.
Whereas someone else could do a lot more running and not have this sort of problems. But that's like everything, really.
Yeah, I think, well, one of the things that I think with novice runners too, is that they push themselves too far to where...
That's the main cause of shin splints.
Yeah, their form is looking terrible and they're, you know, they're just hurting themselves.
Yeah.
To try to go a little more distance, it's better to try to keep good form, and when you can't keep good form, it's time to stop.
What's your tattoo? Oh, it's a knife?
Yeah, it's a knife going through a cloud. It's almost like a yin-yang kind of a thing.
Oh, okay.
Something I got when I was in the military.
Oh, right.
A soft and a hard kind of feel.
Gotcha.
Forgetting I was kind of going through and packing stuff, and I came across a book that I don't know if you've ever seen, but I thought you might be interested in it. So don't let me forget to give it to you before you leave.
Oh, okay. What book is it?
It's called Bodhisattva Warriors. It's a history of martial arts in like India and
cool.
In Buddhism. It's pretty.
Yeah.
It's a pretty scholarly book actually.
Oh yeah. I know the term Bodhisattva, but I don't know that book.
Yeah, I haven't run across it anywhere for years.
Did you recall the author's name?
Let's see.
You don't have to worry about it right now. I'll deal with it in due course.
It's very accessible.
Okay.
I think probably wasn't a great success because it's actually a pretty difficult read. You know, you have to kind of have a bit of an academic background, I think, to follow that author's writing. And if you know something about Buddhism, I think it helps too. Like, I think you probably get more out of it in some ways than I could.
I've read some scholarly Buddhist books in my time. I was going to ask you if that's the sense you meant it in.
Yeah. Yeah, well, in both senses, I mean, I think it's high language in general,
okay.
But then there's a lot of language that comes out of Buddhism that's pretty foreign to most if you're not studying that.
It has its own idiom, just like most things.
Right.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good book.
Translations of Bodhi Buddhist texts.
Yeah, I read a fictional book that came out just a few years ago about Bodhidharma. I really enjoyed that.
I really like the connection between spirituality and martial arts.
Yeah.
Although at times it's overlooked, and like he says on the back, a lot of times people assume that they're antagonistic towards one another.
Right.
Even one of my Buddhist friends doesn't really understand my interest in martial arts. I'm trying to tell him, like, it can be a spiritual practice.
Right.
You have to have the right attitude about it. Shaolin monks. We're all Buddhist monks.
Yeah, exactly.
But people just see the superficial, they just see the like I think violence.
Right.
That it's like somehow that's all it's about.
Right. You know, after working with Taka Kinjin for a while, when I came, because he's a really, really spiritual guy, and when I came to an understanding of martial arts, is more almost like a metaphor.
Yeah.
Like you're not really, you know, of course these techniques work with people.
Yeah.
But they can be a metaphor so that you're actually battling things like, you know, imbalance and frailty and inflexibility and, you know, just poor health in whatever way, right?
Yeah. And that's how the Shaolin tradition originated.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
I don't even know what to say when you do that one. I suppose I could do a side quad stretch or something.
Yeah.
I just look at that. I don't even know, like, how do I... What's a basic variation of that?
I think there's some people who kind of moved away from doing this stretch because I guess it can be hard on the knee, but I never felt like it was.
Yeah, like it's the same thing with, that's why they modify the herder stretch too, it's contraindicated.
Right.
But I mean, a lot of it has to do with the person. So, like, I mean, they talk about, for general trauma, don't squat past parallel or whatever.
Right.
Tell that to an Olympic weightlifter who squats and almost touches the ground, it's flat.
Right.
All depends on that person's active range of motion. If it works for you and you don't have any problems, then you're good to go.
Have you ever tried learning any of those sequences that were supposed to come from Bodhidharma?
Oh no, I never did try like the, I can't remember, the 18 hands of 4 mile or whatever. No, I never did try to learn those, although I read a book about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've tagged some of the tutorials from the contemporary Shaolin monks.
Okay. Yeah, I would like to incorporate some Shaolin stuff. The book I read on it was actually just a Buddhist text. It wasn't actually like a martial art text, really.
Yeah.
I was in the Buddhism section of the library, and a lot of it had to do with what you conventionally call philosophy, Buddhist philosophy. That term was a little bit misleading. That's like saying that it's like saying theory of gravity is a philosophy. Right? I mean, there are philosophies in Buddhism, but it really has very little to do with what the Buddha actually taught. Like there is a Buddhist religion, but that has very little to do with what the Buddha had in mind when he founded his monastic order. This one turn this elbow?
Yeah.
Yeah. The opposite elbow.
Yeah.
It's been a long time since I've done so many stretches.
Yeah, I really should do them every day. I don't.
I stretch 6 days a week now, but I should widen and vary my repertoire. And actually, I'm actually stretching 8 times a week because I went back to shorter weightlifting sessions 5 days a week.
yeah.
So I stretched twice today, but not that, like, the total time is not that long really, so I can't really say too much.
Calf cramp.
Are those, is that associated with running, do you think?
I don't know. I don't normally get calf cramps. I get a lot of foot cramps.
Yeah.
That might be associated with the barefoot running.
Yeah. Might be. Yeah, we're learning a lot about things that can go wrong when you pursue athletic endeavors. An injury rehab class.
Oh yeah.
Turf toe and jumper's knee and tennis elbow.
A lot of people I've known have got that torn ACL at one time or another. That one really sets you back.
I can't really recall the facts about ACL.
It's what's the technical name for that ligament? It's
Oh yeah, the anterior clavicle ligament I'm familiar with. I'm just trying to remember details about the injury.
Yeah, so it comes loose, and then basically the only way to
lock me.
Yeah, what's that?
I got lock me from that one.
We have to
Couple minutes to skedaddle.
Cool.